and welcome to a brand new series here on Bay TV Liverpool. The origins of this series came about a couple of weeks ago now. I was sitting on a train coming in from Southport, Merseyrail to Liverpool, and reading the Metro when suddenly I heard this old lady opposite me. She said, "What is going on?" As I was in the middle of a story about Taylor Swift and her romance with Tom Hiddleston, I thought it was a pretty good comment. In fact, she was talking about Trump, another story in the paper. Yeah, that man again. We sat and we chatted about all the news in the paper that day. And by the time we got off at Liverpool Central, we both felt better. We'd solved all the world's problems. And that is the origin of this TV series. It helps, doesn't it? Chatting about the horrors and the fun stories that are going on around Liverpool, Merseyside, and the world in general. So we thought, let's do this as a show. We're not on Merseyrail, we're here in the studios at Bay TV, but I have three wonderful passengers with me, pulled directly from the news headlines of today. I have, on my left, Peter Grant, journalist of The Parish, Leslie Butler, wonderful actress, or is it actor, of The Parish, and Titus, author, fellow author. Great to have you all here, and I thought I'd throw you in at the deep end with an incredibly serious news story that's caught my eye in today's paper. Helen Skelton, she was caught on camera, yes, caught on camera, presenting a TV programme about the Olympics, and she was scantily clad. Shocking. Oh, I was shocked.
How very dirty.
Just a bit. Isn't it? Does it matter these days? I mean, I remember growing up when we first got a telly and there, all the BBC people, I think it was Billy Butler, dressed in a dinner jacket and with that plummy accent of the Beeb. Haven't times changed a bit? What's going on that this should be a news story today?
It's definitely down to the silly season. We're in it. We're right up into our gills in silly stories. It's not something that causes debate. There's so many things going on in the world. Is that what the best we could come up with? As Willie Russell once said, aren't there better songs to sing? And I really believe that a minority, a few people on the news desk there have said, oh, this is a good story, you know, Blue Peter connections. She's in Rio, for goodness sake, in a studio. I mean...
Baking hot.
Baking hot, yeah. If you're going to
And it's the Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're going to do a show like Debate in Newspapers, you know, we dress accordingly.
Very well dressed,
yeah,
I have to say.
Unfortunately, our host doesn't. But so you listen to the advisors, the backroom team, who say that doesn't look good, that works well. It's not a story, you know. Like I say, if it was the Winter Olympics, would we sort of get really angry, hot under the collar, if you pardon me, terrible pun, that they're wearing gloves and mitts? No, you do a TV programme to suit the audience, and times have changed.
Leslie, do you think she's letting standards slip?
For myself, I think if you're on TV, you need to present yourself well. And yeah, she's dressed that way probably to get into the papers, obviously. She's caused a stir, which is probably what she wanted to do.
I certainly wasn't watching the Olympics until that moment, I have to say.
Well, a lot of men, yes, would be in your shoes as well there, Tim. I thought she looked nice, but I think for presenting a programme, there is an etiquette, I think, for dress, which I think should be followed. A lot of people probably weren't listening to what she was saying. They were...
I was.
You wear Titus, I'll give you that, Titus.
I did not notice her dress, and believe you me, as a father of a soon-to-be 8-year-old daughter, I do often tell her what my mum used to say, which is, if you want to be a lady, do it from the inside out. Don't wait for someone else to tell you you're a lady because of what they see in you. Do it because of how you see you. So I was listening to her. I did not notice her clothing at any point in time.
Helen is looked on as a role model, especially for young children like your daughter.
Yeah, she had a lot of information about what she was talking about. She knew about it. She was polite and respectful. The clothes, yes, you have to have a good appearance, but you know, I didn't dress to be here. I dressed because this morning I looked in the mirror and thought, I feel comfortable. You know, but I appreciate the presentable. I appreciate the reality of people will look at how you're dressed and take their first impression from that. we don't tend to take the most control of our thoughts as we can. But I will tell you the honest truth. The person who gave me one of the biggest factors I've ever heard didn't have a shirt on.
Oh, my God.
He was in the middle of Nigeria, he was a farmer, he barely had any cover on, and he said to me, in your thinking mind, you will create either everything in your life or nothing if you choose not to use it.
I understand that, but
If
that's
I-
like in a different situation because that's in Nigeria, but this is like for TV. If your daughter was to be on TV and she dressed that way, even
Yeah.
though she was presenting something, how would you feel?
I'd feel,
about
are
her
you
dressed that
comfortable
way?
there? Were you comfortable when you left home to dress that way? Or did you think, I don't feel comfortable? Did you honestly think somebody is going to look at the way you're dressed and think something else about it? And I appreciate you saying it was Nigeria, but I'd just come from England and I actually did look and go, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't even have a shirt. So that was my mind prejudging, and it was nothing to do with what he was wearing. It was to do with what he was saying.
Well, I can see looking at your faces, though, that not one of you has been particularly shocked by Helen.
No, not
So-
It wasn't that scantily clad
that
either.
It wasn't. It
I'm
was
gonna
just
have
a
to
leg,
try
wasn't it?
harder
In all
with my news
fairness, it was just a
stories.
leg.
You know,
Yeah.
there was no plunging cleavage.
No.
No.
Because I'd be at home watching it now. If
I go with the silly season thing. It was more
Silly
about
season.
silly season.
In that
We've
case,
got a story.
moving on from the silly season to, well, Liverpool, where we are. We're sitting in the middle of Liverpool. It's a big mayoral race going on at the moment. I heard somebody told me that Liverpool's going to be broke in a couple of years, which I find stunning. Now, I don't know if this is a fact or it's just one of those rumours that people bandy around. What is the state of Liverpool today? For me, I see it as being one of the most famous cities on the planet. Surely, you go anywhere outside of the UK, mention Liverpool, people fall at your feet. They love
They
you, which is very helpful.
Very easy for conversation if you're abroad.
Isn't it just?
Absolutely.
You drop the scouse into your
you
accent.
do.
and yeah.
The
put it this
Beatles.
way. If it gets broke financially, it can earn it again. But if it gets
Yeah.
broke
Absolutely.
inspirationally and with that scouse energy, that may never come back.
There's a lot of energy in the city, isn't there? I mean, I was away for 45 years, having grown up here, and coming back, it felt like I'd never been away. There was that buzz that you don't get in. I got it in New York. Can't think of anywhere else that I've got that same buzz as you get in Liverpool. Where do you think Liverpool stands today? It's looked on as a big film city as well. People come here to film movies,
yeah,
the
it's
biggest
the
movies.
second most film city outside London.
Yeah.
And we double up for Edinburgh, Russia, different places across the world.
Beatlemania still going on. We've got
Beatlemania.
Beatle Week at the end of August.
And don't forget the football. Football,
Yeah.
you know, all the hotels. There used to be a time when there was only about 2 hotels in Liverpool. You know, and like
Well,
the-
the hotels now are popping up everywhere,
Everywhere,
aren't
like
they?
pop-up hotels.
Every corner there's a hotel.
And that's because we've got Norwegian fans coming to see Liverpool and Everton, Irish people come over. All the hotels are booked. And, you know, that we shouldn't forget football as part of the infrastructure. But tourism, we are a tourism-friendly city. We're known for it, the friendliness, the inspirational. I think
That's built up, hasn't it, over
Yeah.
the years?
and it's that cockiness that sort of we don't take anything lying down. I wrote a book like you and Titus called Talk Like the Scousers. It was all about the optimism and how, you know, we bounce back. The
Yeah, we did.
Beatles, you know, getting rejection slips. We won't take it lying down.
No.
And I don't think for 1 minute we'll go broke. You know, we can always borrow a few quid off mum and dad.
Is it only me thinking of that song, In My Liverpool Home? I've seen children in schools in Liverpool, and there is a difference. And I only say this because I've seen children in schools across the country, but there's an energy in Liverpool. And a lot of schools in Liverpool have a rebellion against that. Let's give you a SAT number and let's say that's what you're going to become. And so long as we maintain that and find that energy, that produced the Beatles. Who knows what we'll produce? You know, but it's a
I wonder
limit.
if the school system produced the Beatles, because I suspect they were avoiding the school system as much as possible.
Takes one to teach one. So
But again, that
you
helped.
never
Maybe
know.
that helped them. I can look back at my own childhood and say the Christian Brothers, who I didn't take to, the Irish Christian Brothers, but they did guide me. They guided me in learning how to deal with very difficult people,
Exactly.
which helped enormously in my career later on when I was dealing with publishers and all sorts of nitwits. For want of a better word. I think that's the technical term.
But Liverpool's going to be fine.
Liverpool's going to be fine.
And better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's vibrant, isn't it? You know, you've got the tourism here, as Peter said,
You're
hotels are
stopping.
popping up. I'm staying. I would never leave this city, never. We're a very close-knit community. We stay together, don't we? We support each other.
Yeah.
Should I sing the song again?
Yes, please do.
In my Liverpool home. You see, that's the thing. It's just like I say, you don't find a Liverpool energy in a lot of other
No, you
cities.
don't. I totally agree.
You don't find that same essence of people saying, I'm a Scouser.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, we have to be careful that it doesn't pass into lost knowledge over generations or pass into just being about the Beatles. It has to
It's
be
never
about
been just about the
pretension.
Beatles, has it?
No, I mean,
No,
we
I
once
mean,
had a survey in the Echo, name 100, we got the readers to vote for that 100 great Merseysiders, and we ran out of space. Now, if you went to somewhere like Colchester and went in the street and said to somebody, name
Or
5,
Hull.
or Hull,
Yeah.
name 5 famous people from
Other
Colchester.
cities are available.
Yeah, Norwich, Leicester.
Yes.
You can come up with like Gary Lineker for Leicester, Hull, a monkey.
There was a monkey.
There was a monkey there, yes, in Hull. Yes. Oh no, sorry, that was Hartlepool.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
thought
they
so.
hanged a monkey in Hartlepool.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
They thought
Davy
he was-
Jones or something. He was Manchester. Yes.
Yeah, no, Joe Anderson, our current mayor, once said, "We are not a self-pity city, we are a gritty city," and I think that's a great motto.
That is a wonderful phrase. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hi and welcome back. Gongs. What's that word mean to you? I know what it means to David Cameron. He's been dishing them out. Have you noticed, everybody?
Yeah.
A lot of his friends, fair enough. If I was Prime Minister or ex-Prime Minister, I'd probably be handing out gongs to all my chums. Is it right? And who do you think should be getting the gongs other than stylists for his missus?
Yeah, I think the whole thing's wrong. I think it was a great chance for the incoming Prime Minister, Theresa May, to ditch it all. Because under cronyism in the dictionary, it says C. Cameron. Given an award to his wife's stylist, at the end of the day, that's what she is, and his drivers. There are people out there, because you know they were committed to what he'd done, in his workplace. There's people all over the country, in factories and offices, who work their socks off. You know, they're people who deserve gongs, lollipop ladies, nurses, teachers. So I'm totally against it, and I thought Theresa could have done something. We're on speaking terms now, me and Theresa. Theresa could have done something
But
about
she
it.
didn't. Were you truly shocked that she didn't?
Yes, I
You
was
were?
shocked.
Oh,
I just think
right.
it was an ideal time to say, I'm not just going to govern for the few,
Yeah.
and you know, let's start a brand new, let's turn a new page.
Yeah.
Great chance to do it.
So
It was
the
a great
page-
chance for her.
the
Yeah, it was
page
a great
has not
chance for her
been-
to change
It's-
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that when you ask who should get a gong,
Yeah.
Apart from Billy Butler, you know,
Hasn't he got one already?
No.
MBE.
Only one when I ring dinner, you know, gong!
he's got a medal wife. I mean, you know,
The model wife.
model,
Yes.
model.
Yes.
Well, no, Olympics. By Jove. And talking of by Jove, I would
Ah,
say
of course,
that God bless him, Ken Dodd.
Ken Dodd.
Should.
Without, again, why has he not got one? I mean, that's just crazy. Has anybody given more pleasure for a longer time?
Yeah, and also, you know, people get gongs
And he's brilliant.
for charitable work.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Doddy has got the Ken Dodd Charitable Trust. He never wants it sort of mentioned in the papers. He's not one to, I did this, I did that.
No.
And, you know, it would give people a lot of happiness,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
use his quote, if he got a gong.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, his gong is living because it exists. What he's done to make it worthy exists. But what I see from Cameron, and it's just, well, it's not just because I used to have longer hair, and I would give my stylist a gong if I had the power to. He is just showing his appreciation. That's probably as far as it goes for him. And he's doing it within the powers that he has. Because I agree with you as well. I would give a gong to the lollipop ladies, and especially the lollipop man at our school who remembers over 1,000 kids' names. You know, but again, if you met him, you'd realize that he would probably say, no, I don't need it. Just being here and doing this is my gong.
But Doddy should get it for sheer contribution to entertainment. If you're going to give it to Sir Rod Stewart, then give it to, let's have Sir Ken Dodd.
I say
Yeah.
the same as I said to my daughter, and this shocked a lot of the other parents because she won an award as for the most progressive in her year. And I said to her, yeah, I'm not as proud of you for winning the award as I am proud of you in general. And a lot of people ask me why, and I said, because there's lots of other kids, as one of the teachers said, who progressed as well. But you can't give everyone an award. I believe you literally can, but that award is living. It's real. They know they've done work and they're worthy of it. If I had the power, I'd give Ken Dodd the first award. But without that award, the reality, and this again is just in my opinion, is so strong that you don't need to give him an award for it to become real. You know, people will never forget Ken Dodd. It's not possible. And it's because of everything he's done and does. You know, but however, there will be people who will get an award who will be forgotten because their actual real action is not as powerful as the fact that they've got an award.
Yeah, arise, Sir Ken. I do want to hear those words, I must say. Does he need it? Hardly, because he is what he is. I wonder. From gongs to gong, Trump,
Goon.
a word that doesn't come easily out of my mouth. What on earth is going on in politics this year?
Crazy.
I've never really been into politics because I've always seen it as a bit of a circus, bit of a show, bit of a joke. Nothing ever changes. One party gets in, then the other, then the other, then the other. And so it goes. Nobody's ever happy with whatever party's in. But Trump is something else. Living in the States back in the early 80s, I remember when he first came into my consciousness, thinking he was a joke back then. He was a joke back then. People are following him. And there's word on the street is he might be president next. How does this come about? I mean, just today, he's actually incited people to go out and stick with that Second Amendment and shoot his main competitor, Hillary Clinton. Were I to say that about Titus? Titus has books out. I've got books out. We're in competition. Now, if I would...
No, we're not.
No,
You
were
are
I to
creative,
suggest...
So am I. There was enough for both of us to
Well,
progress.
fair enough. That's because we're reasonable people. Trump is not. And he seems the last man on the planet you would want anywhere near a big red button marked bang. What do you think? Tell me about Trump and your Wirral take on him.
My Wirral, yeah. I'm a Scouser, but I'm sort of decamping to Wirral these days. I would say that he looks as daft from the Wirral as he does, you know, in the TV screen in Egbert. His haircut, I talk about the Blue
Now, let's
Peter
not
girl.
get into haircuts.
Well, you know, get something done about your hair. How can you trust a man with hair like that? You know, and I believe in Disneyland now they have Donald Trump watches as opposed to Mickey Mouse watches, you know, with the ticking down to the red button on his red nose. I'm just amazed that America is so vast, so big. Is that all we can come up with? That being a man who is more suited to spitting image puppetry and, you know, the new series of Newsoids. He doesn't seem articulate. He can't seem to string the speech together. And they must have the best speechwriters in the world over in America. And yet
he has followers. Well, if he had 2 followers, I might let it pass. He's got more than 2 followers.
You know, when I was in Disneyland, and someone once asked me, "Who's the most charismatic person I've ever come across?" You know, and I've met the Beatles and all the rest of it. I would say Hillary Clinton. Really? I really would. She shone in a crowd full of people. It was 25 years of Disney, and that was years back in the 90s. Trump has charisma, a darker charisma, and I just think that, you know, America wants to imitate England having its own monarchy. Again, is that all they can come up with? Will we have the horrible spectre of, if Trump does get in, then it'll be the son of Trump following to the White House?
And surely the beauty of America was that it didn't have a monarchy.
Exactly,
I mean,
the
that's what it
Republic.
was built upon, was it not? Yeah, the Republican.
Republican, yeah.
And yet it's the Republicans who have put this chap up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared for the future when, come November and we turn a telly on, like I was when it said the Tories are a majority party in the last election. I just can't imagine seeing Trump victory. That is a nightmare scenario.
Do you think we're all going to suddenly step out of the shower and realise this 2016 has been a dream? Or is that just my hope? Tell us, I think.
Bad. I mean, let's be honest, Trump is just the head of everything behind him. And for whatever reason, he's been allowed to be there. And we may never know that reason, but he is just the head of everything behind him.
But is he not a dangerous head?
He might be.
Does he not
but
have his own
everyone
way
has
of
the
thinking?
potential for danger. Everyone has their own way of thinking. But Donald Trump is a profiteering individual.
And he's
so he's making a profit.
Of hate?
He's making a profit. He
fear.
probably is not judging it as hate, because if he did, he as a
It's not love, is it, that he has for Mexicans
well,
and
it's love
Islam?
for his own self and his own beliefs is what he is showing. And the same reasons we are saying that he shouldn't be allowed to be there are the reasons why someone is saying we will put him there, because he is giving us what we think we need. And it's those people who have the power to remove him that are not doing that because they're getting what they want from him. And the reason why I say it's laughable is that it exemplifies that following, conforming, and when you say he has followers, are people really following him? That's the question that I see.
Well,
or
certainly
are they
by the
just
hundreds
there?
and thousands, I think,
Yeah, because
and
he's the
that's
Republican
worrying thing.
leader.
It's more worrying that there are that amount of people following him.
He's been elected as their leader. I mean, to be honest, if people looked at him the way I would, if he walked up in the street and started talking to you, what energy would you get from him? If he was just, hi, my name is Donald Trump. Nice to meet you. I'm going to build a wall. What would you say to that? Where are you going to build your wall, Donald? How would your impression of him be? And then let's put him in a position where he can actually build a wall around the country, stop people coming in. I mean, these kind of things, like I say, they will produce a reaction of some kind.
Leslie, what's your reaction?
Well,
Of
he's
some
saying
kind?
a lot of political correct things here that you and I couldn't say.
Yeah.
So has he got these followers because he's saying things that we want to say but we can't say? Is he saying it because of
I suspect not that anything you or I would want to say.
No,
He's appealing
but some
to
people
fear.
do.
Some people do
Some
indeed.
people do want to say it, and
So they're having
Maybe that's why he's
their
getting his
say through
backing.
him. Yeah, I guess. But how many? Is there enough to
no,
push
there's
him
not
into
going to
that
be
position?
enough at all.
You think not?
No, he's talking rubbish, isn't he? He's crazy.
In every country, every
On that
leader.
very happy Liverpool note, Trump is nuts. We'll leave you and see you back here next time with more news.